Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Return of the Obra Dinn. Let's continue. So, we're in a interesting position where we don't inherently know where the last dead body is. So, the game up until this point has been pretty much a straight linear experience, showing us a movie or showing us clips of about 10 different movies and some linear progressions of stills. So you're basically seeing photos of uh, about 10 different movies. But when we look at the book, there is a section here that we haven't even started. So there is gotta be, one assumes, a a extra body here. Like the Doom here, obviously we haven't found everything. So I imagine what I need to do is focus more on that. Hmm. The bargain is last, and then the escape we've kind of gotten everything. In the end, we've gotten everything. So somewhere there is a body that we just haven't seen. Um, it just has to be the case. Like we've already done that, so that watch flips open, and this door was opened by some magical change in events. Hmm. Hmm. And you also have a bit of a weird experience here in that I've slept since the last recording, and so you're probably going to have a fairly different experience every time if you are working from that perspective and you are taking large breaks. Um, that is going to probably severely affect your your memory, thus your ability to deduce certain people as certain people. Each of these rooms very well might have some hints to to the people, and that's really where we're dropping the ball. Is that like this, for instance? If I was to go here and then go all the way to the table of contents and then look here, we can say we are in the bosun's room right now. Um, but the only thing we see is either some kind of pipe necklace or some kind of whistle. It seems weird regardless. And the only way I think you figure that out is you have to look basically at every character and see if we can get something more. See, if this here is what is on that necklace, that might be it. Like, we see this guy has a violin. I haven't seen a violin anywhere. We can definitely go down, like, the races, and we could say, well, this is probably a Russian guy, this is probably a Russian guy, this is probably a Russian guy. These are almost certainly all the Chinese people, the Chinese top men. Um, there definitely are some blurred faces still, and does imply there's more to this than what we've seen. And at a certain level, we may just have to guess. And I think this game kind of expects you to guess too. That's one of the weird things about how this seems to go is that you probably do have to guess. Um, so yeah, let's make a guess. We think he's the bosun, Alfred Cleese, still, for no good reason. And I think that's really where this is all just going to boil down to, is we're going to have to fill in a lot of things. You run into the kind of dishonesty of this situation in the sense that there really is no reason why an insurance adjuster or person filling out this book would need to visually inspect each body and know the location of the body and identify each person. He could easily fill in garbage information and just form his own narrative and just be done with it. He could deduce some things accurately, but not have a visual confirmation. Because we kind of know some people have done some things and have died certain ways. Alright, here we go. This is the one we missed. But we haven't seen the person enough to unblur the face. A lot of just grotesque sound effects happening here. So he seemed to pull up the Kraken. And then at the same time, we've got a guy here who seems to be a cook. So that may identify one person. Then we've got a couple more people here. We might get some information. This is probably a steward. Someone's steward. Can we... like... let's see. Unknown steward. Unless we know who this guy is. At a certain point, it may just come down to saying it's this person or this person. And so you kind of have to go back into the memories because you don't have enough time at all to look at everybody and highlight everything until it zooms out this part. So the game is kind of cheaty in the sense that is that this guy, Edward Spratt? Okay, well then he was crushed by the beast. I mean, crushed by the beast or strangled by the beast. I think it's hard to say he was strangled. Crushed by a beast. If we're to assume that that's correct. But ideally, what I want to do right now is bring up this guy. First mate steward. And he was killed with a sword by an unknown attacker. So we saw him later. And then that is the artist guy. Does he have his art stuff with him? No. I think we're going to drop the ball quite a bit on if we just have to recognize faces, because there's just not a lot of detail. There's no color in this. Maybe after Paper Please being kind of a commentary on race, there was an idea to try and expand on that and have a game where you really couldn't look at the color of people's skin and use that as a factor. Again, shoes could be a factor to identify a lot of these people, but I think that'd be very difficult. Also, like, he's either the third or fourth mate. Do we know how he died? No. First mate, second mate. So either he's the third mate or the fourth mate, or there's a, like, if you started to look at the hats, there's a mate over here. So I could say he's an unknown officer, and I could say he's an unknown officer. And I think that's probably as much as I can get from that. And we could probably guess on stewards. We could possibly go where we are standing. No, it doesn't really help much. He's walking with food either in this general direction, which means he could be any of the mate's stewards, really, whatsoever. And then this guy, we have no idea who he is. There's nothing there. Thought there was a book there. This guy, we have no idea who he is. There's a sword here, hanging, with number 36. So does that mean anything? Because swords could just be grabbed and used by anybody, and that you get into a weird situation there where it is fairly easy to make grand assumptions that could easily be wrong, that just because a sword is near somebody in a memory that they use that sword. We very well may have to go through this the entire run of memories 2 or 3 times. I also kind of feel like the game interacts differently in different instances. Sometimes you run out of time and then you're kind of just left to have to walk through a door. Sometimes you find a body. That is obviously different, but also it seems like you get rushed one way more than you get rushed the other. You definitely are getting rushed. Okay, he's Danish.
You killed my brother. What? That was an accident. The robes. It wasn't his fault. I saw the whole thing. Lies. I shouldn't have waited so long. No, don't.
Okay. So this guy, he has a brother, and he attacks this guy who's Danish. So can we just look through the list and say, oh, is there only one Danish person? Denmark, Lars Linde. Yep, he's the only Danish guy. Alright. And then this guy, he has to have a brother, which, let's see. Ideally, if he has a brother, he has to also kind of be dead. Otherwise, we're going to run into a problem here. Do we see Milroy twice? A lot of names here. Shirley Booth, Brennan, Dion. Yeah, I'm not seeing a repeated last name. Minor. James. Naples. Okay, so no help there. This guy has a distinctive sash, but oddly there's another guy over here that has like a distinctive sash. So, I don't know if that gives us any information. This guy has a distinctive necktie. And it seems like now would be the time you would want to be able to bring up the dialogue, and yet you're limited from doing that. And we see the door here, so this may be the final bit of information that we can get. Okay. Is clubbed in the face. So 2 Perrots, 2 Gibbs, 2 O'Farrells. Birds. Davy James. Was there another James? Peters? Were there 2 Peters? The 2 Wolves? Hey, well, I see a Peters here. Nathan Peters, seaman from England. And see if we see another Peters up higher. Otherwise, we're going to have to give up on this because there probably are 2 names listed here, and they are just too many names. Too many names not stricken off the list at the moment. And I think at that point, that does list just a massive amount of people dead between the Doom and there's 7 people here that we just need to identify and assume that they either died or are alive and escaped somewhere. The thing I meant to do was look up the location of Morocco, but I didn't do that, so that will, I suppose, just have to happen. So we have now found all the deaths. So the like first 3 or 4 hours of the game is literally this, where it's like you go through the stationary thing. Now you have theoretically seen all the information you need to see to fill in the entire book. Theoretically, I don't think you actually need to fill in the book. You could just end the game right now and leave. But and yeah, there isn't really a timer effect here. In effect, but it's gonna try and have you feel that way. Okay. Okay, we have pretty much gonna have to apply some just racism, I think, directly to it. I think that's really what this is gonna come. We have Charlie Miner, who's a French person. We have one guy from India. No, we have several people from India. And at this point, you probably would be better off labeling people um, as just Indians. Like, until we can figure out where these two females are alive, it doesn't really help much. Wait a minute. If this is a Wallace, is there a female Wallace under the passengers? No, unfortunately. So this isn't, say, a I don't even know if this one's right. This is a surgeon's mate. Could this be possibly the surgeon? Well, this is like labeled the captain's steward, and he's not near the captain. Alright. So let's just start giving some names and some guesses to people. And honestly, it may not help too much. You've got a lot of people that are in these, so these are probably stewards. And let's see, under the stewards we have a guy from India, Ireland, and 2 from England. So we could probably do some elimination that way. Which of these guys? It looks like a steward. This is an English guy, I would say. This is probably the Indian guy. So, and I'm gonna say this is probably the Ireland guy. Which a lot of these guesses are obviously going to be wrong. I assume that these are stewards. Yeah, this might also be a great point to turn off the audio and just play in full silence, or turn down the audio. Let's see. There we go. That was right. That was right. And that was right. Okay. So that means any completed answer I put in here probably is wrong. But we'll have to go and check. He was, I think, killed with a sword is what I think this memory is. Is there an easy way? Is this Nicole's? I don't think it is. I think it's someone who was killed by Nicole's. And see, this is the point where the names are crossed off. So he's shot with a gun by an unknown passenger. Which is this guy. And once we find that guy, he will definitely be a linchpin. This guy was shot with a gun by someone. And you can kind of see how it's important for each of these other people present for that to work. There can't just be two people in the room. Otherwise it becomes very, very quick and easy to figure out who was the victim and who was the accuser. See, this guy was speared by the beast, and I feel like he is one of the Chinese people. So it's probably easy enough to just select the first name and put that as a new guess. This guy is not the ship's steward, so maybe he's Davy Jones. That's right. That's right. That's right. Can we identify these people? No, I don't think so, but at a certain point, I think we probably will assume that everybody on the firing squad was at the same station. Top man. Again, we may just be better off filling in the Chinese names. And for 1807, this probably would make a lot of sense that that some of this would just completely fall down to unknown Chinese person is given a name and you just make some guesses and move on with your life. The game here is being very, very demanding. Like, the odds of all the names being in the exact order that they're listed seems fairly low. I think this is probably an officer, but I really don't have any evidence to confirm that. This is either a cook or a butcher or a carpenter. So do we have it now where and part of the problem here is we're marking out things though that we've already used, even though those things we've already used are potentially wrong. This guy is labeled as the second mate steward. He must be the fourth mate steward. This guy. Is there one person from Africa? Or Black Irish? Or New Guinea? Or Sierra Leone? I don't think the game is also going to tell us if we are right in a lot of these instances until we leave the book. I'm going to put him as the bosun's mate then. Let's see if that is right. Let's see. Somebody with a hat could either be the helmsman or a midshipman. He's not a topman. He's not going to be a seaman. We're going to have to fill in a lot of that. Let's just call him the pursuer. And then this might be the cook. We don't even know. But by making so many changes and not leaving the book, I'm not sure I'm actually doing myself any favor. Like, it could be that I should just put in 3 changes, pull them out, and then see if they're right. Let's see. Topmen's. One from Persia. One from New Guinea. I'm going to say he's from New Guinea. We had a ship steward from India. Do we have anyone else from India? Let's see. It's just a lot of people at the end of that one. Let's see. This officer. He's either 3rd or 4th mate. Maybe he's a gunner. Yeah, there is a lot of brute force I think you are just going to have to do here. I don't think you go any further otherwise. Some of these that say like unknown attacker, it might very well be that the unknown attacker is somebody we know. And clearly, he's not alive in the UK. He's not alive in... We'll just go through all of them. Atlantic Island. And we'll just brute force it that way. So all those guesses seemingly did nothing for us. Okay. Well, then if we go to the end, that's where we started. 3 people are present. We know the first mate, this guy, and this guy was knifed by WITTEREL. So, let's see. We have this guy, and this guy. Hmm. We can look at everything. And then it was just this guy and this guy. He's got to be a midshipman of some sort. Are there multiple Milroys? And then this guy. He's got to be some kind of seaman of some sort. So do I want to say he's Russian? He could be Russian. So I don't know if there's really a benefit of going back through that. If this guy was crushed and he's at the bottom, and we can figure out what he was as far as a midshipman, then that would probably help us quite a bit. So, because either he is a midshipman, or there are no like bottom shipmen. So, nope. Yeah, I don't think I have even 3 things right. And see, chapter 2 has been completely done, so it'd be nice to kind of skip over that part. And then we've just gotta figure out who do we want to see who this is. We kind of never see anybody at a helm. But so like I could say that's him. I could also say that maybe these are all lower class characters where these are kind of higher class people. Alright. Now, in this one, he is being shot by the person that we don't know. But we think he probably is a midshipman. So if we confirm this and hope that we just have one person that would synchronize. Alright. So we can kind of say, well, if that's not Peter Milroy, is that Thomas Link? And if that's Thomas Link, then we'll change it to that. And of course, we could be totally wrong. And only in this idea of this being a magic book that tells you if you're right, does that help anything? And I guess I could just be wrong in general that these are midshipmen. I don't think they're top men. Let's see. Put that back to unknown. We may very well just have to focus on whatever has the easiest identification on the photos, because this is like a 1-star identification, where this guy is also a 1-star identification, and yet I've missed something clearly. Captain's mate. Seaman's unknown. Alright. Like, he could be from American. Winston Smith. Okay. That was the butcher. And that's Maba. Alright, let's go ahead and do that first of all. Well, see, now that's not really playing the sound effects. You can kind of tell that there is a massive difference in the sound effects. Like, of the pages turning. This is a real great example of where you would need a much more specific. I'm just gonna cycle each name that is wrong. I mean, he could be a bosun, or he could be the gunner's mate from Poland. But yeah, it would be a lot nicer if I could turn the sound effects up and the rest of the sounds down. Well, 33, 34, and 35 are midshipmen. So there's only 3 midshipmen, and yet there was 4 firing squad. So I almost feel like just guessing Siemens, but that wouldn't. That's not going to be a quick and easy. way to figure this out. Hmm. Hmm. And yeah. Is this an Indian guy or a Chinese guy? Hmm. And does this look like someone who could be the bosun? Or an English passenger? No. Those are the females, anyways. I feel like this really is just going to come down to if we can figure out some basic things. That's not an Indian guy, I don't think. About what do seamen people look like, then that would answer a lot of the questions immediately. Yeah. And I'm just going to start applying seaman names to characters. And we'll just try and brute force this. I don't know if there's a legitimate answer here that makes sense. And honestly, it might just be easier to change names around and just brute force it, even though there might be more deductive reasoning here. See, this is the kind of example where if you're reading a Sherlock Holmes book and Sherlock Holmes said, oh, actually, I just cheated and I had something that could confirm all of my guesses and I just guessed all over the place, that would be a very uninteresting book, and that's where a writer would want to actually write some explanations and deductions there. But let's see if maybe he's the bosun. I don't think he is. Ji Shang Li Long. We'll pick the bottom Chinese people. This guy's not the gunner's mate. Maybe he's the ship's steward. I think we already tried that. Is there anything else that would make sense for him? I don't think so. And just because this is a seaman doesn't inherently mean that this guy's a seaman. But also it wouldn't really hurt to just throw an English name in there. And there is kind of a problem where a lot of these characters do just look vaguely ethnic in the sense that they are by their haircuts, but I mean, it really is just getting down to some heavy racism that you're going with. Hmm. 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 And next time we get 3 matches, that'll just have to be the end. If this is the surgeon's mate, this is probably not the surgeon. Yeah. Kind of want to zoom in on this guy. Hmm. Hmm. This guy looks like he's either a steward or, like, if he's a steward, he's either got to be Samuel Gilligan or Paul Moss. Hmm. This is a different steward, so. Hmm. Really just moving all the names around. Hmm. Hmm. This isn't the bosun's mate, so maybe it's the bosun. No. Let's say he's the gunner's mate. He very well is just nothing. Hmm. This guy with the hat's not the pursuer. So maybe he's the helmsman. We don't know how the cook died, which that's going to be a problem. This is probably another seaman. Some name. So we'll just throw in somebody's name. Hmm. And I suppose what we should do is we should just put fell overboard on anybody who is missing. That way, if we can figure out who they are, then that would explain the bodies being missing. Because that's really the only options, is either they fell overboard or they're alive somewhere. And the game will happily tell us if we're wrong, because fell overboard is definitely not going to be the same as alive. This guy with the hat. So we've seen 2 guys with hats. So maybe that makes him a steward? I mean, does anything else make sense? Would a midshipman have a hat? No. He's either a bosun, surgeon, cook, gunner, pursuer. We could do that. This guy looks like he's a steward. This guy looks a little fancy, so I'll put him in as a bosun. Although he's gambling. We kind of don't know how he died either, so that one doesn't really matter. Still don't know about this one. This is, I assume, another seaman. But we kind of don't know. But you can kind of tell now also that nearly half of all of our progress has fallen directly from a idea that we're just guessing. And while some guesses as far as the two females might make sense, a lot of it doesn't make sense. Like, that was a massive amount of guessing for me to not have gotten anything right at all. And yet that's exactly what happened. And I think that's fairly well designed to work that way. And we do know that when you walk around the ship, you will be able to see some bunks. But in particular, all the memories in which you do see bunks and people hanging from the bunks, their faces are covered, so you really don't make that big of a progress as you would hope you would. That's kind of further down this direction. I suppose it is also worth checking to see if the kind of final locked room is unlocked right now. I don't think it is. However, yeah, here we are. So yeah, there's no... That unlocked at some point. That was locked for a long time. So yeah, oddly, the bunks are here. And so if we were to like look at number 44, is number 44 a gunner? He's a topman. Interesting. So even though they sleep midship, that doesn't inherently mean that they work midship, which of course that would make a lot of sense. The topmen are not going to be sleeping at the top of the ropes in the rigs. But we will, I think, just have to go through a lot of people's memories. I really think that's where it's going to boil down to. And normally on a ship, you would expect a helm to be somewhere about here, looking forward across the bow of the ship, keeping an eye both on where the ship is going and the crew. Maybe you face it the other way if you were going forward. But it seems like instead they've put a winch system here that kind of looks like a helm, but isn't. A winch system here that doesn't look like a helm. A winch system here. And up here at the front of the ship, there's no helm either. So that there feels like there is a pretty basic solution that you should have been able to find, where the helmsman was near the helm, but there seemingly is no steering wheel, for lack of a better term. It's not in the captain's quarters. And I don't know if there's really a benefit in teasing this glowing thing thing that you can never reach throughout the entirety of the game. Okay. So what we're going to have to do in the next recording is use the map. Use the map heavily. We're going to have to decide which one we're going to do, which ideally would be chapter 2 or chapter 1. Like chapter 1 is just loose cargo and it goes here, and we've already seen that, so we probably don't want that. Chapter 2 is a bitter cold, and it starts here, and so this is where we would want to start. Okay. In surgery on the Orlop deck, which is 2 decks down. Hmm. Okay. So, scan this body, I guess. That's what we would want to do. Part 1 of 3. Chapter 2. And now you get these titles. Two Russians and 1 Indian. So this guy's 54. Yeah, we already know he died of a terrible this guy, he sounds Indian. Is there anybody else from India that would make more sense? Yeah. Well done. 3 more fates are correct. Decapitated by a terrible beast. He did fall overboard to his death. Wow. There is a level of this, I think, that really sadly does just come down to racism and having to identify people by the way they look, and that kind of sucks, but whatever. I mean, that's how it's probably got to be. Yeah, I'm gonna write that guy. That is that guy. Well, actually, we can pretty well guess that if he is 54 and he is 53 and he is 51, then why they have to put an X here, I don't know. 56, 58, 55, 57. So the order seems to go this way. So yeah, 53, 51. You know what it might be though is that the orders change because they move their cots around and at different times. But let's see, who would number 10 be? 10's not even an option. Well, what about 52? That would mean he's an Indian guy and not a Russian guy. Hmm. Well, let's try it. 52. And then shoes. Shoes. This guy has slightly different shoes. 39. So if I could identify people by their shoes, there might be a trick there. Whereas a lot of the other people seem to have fairly standard shoes. Maybe all of these guys are Russians. So we need to wrap up. Well, guess. Lesky Toporov. Really just making some major guesses. Yeah, more and more I think this will probably boil down to just being very, very careful with details and having to go through every single memory a second time. And yeah, this person seems to have whites on the tops of their shoes compared to everybody else that seems to have black shoes. And this person is 39. So if we look at the crew manifest and look at who 39 is, that would be a Xi Zhang Chinese character who was decapitated by the beast. So that information may not even be useful. Well, actually, I think that information definitely is not useful. Alright. You can't go up any further. You can't go down any further. And then you're left also with having to find the door. And at that point, it is really just a matter of finding the map and then following the map to the next victim, which happens to be right here, and scanning that. And that's what we'll do in the next recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.